Hey! Hey!
It literally takes over your life, and you physically and mentally need that to live.
Hey!
No idea what I was getting into.
Try Narcan, I don't know if he's...
I could use anywhere from $20 to $600 a day.
He never got in any trouble at all. High school, nothing.
I don't look at it financially. I look at it as the cost that has taken all of us away from the general public for the day-to-day stuff that we can't avoid.
You can literally devastate local governments across the state if you don't grapple with this right away.
He's gonna post it.
It's continuing to, kill people in our community every single day.
Once a person's hooked, they're a customer for a long time.
I found her dead in her bed.
Once you get into heroin, you don't care about anything.
Heroin and opioid addiction is an epidemic that affects us all. 500,000 Americans have died from an opioid overdose in the past 15 years. In the same period, the rate of addiction has risen almost 500%. There are three paths of heroin addiction: incarceration, treatment, or death. Over the course of this show, 3 people will die from an opioid overdose. This is the cost of heroin.
Can you close 219, please?
Robert Nunemaker had his first experience with opioids at just 18 years old following a snowboarding accident. He was prescribed pain pills and instantly got hooked.
From there, I just fell in love with it. I preferred the pills over the other stuff. And then those were gone, so the only thing I knew was the heroin, and it was cheaper and more potent.
Like many addicts, it didn't take long for heroin to take over.
I didn't know what I was getting into when I first started at all, absolutely not. Even with the painkillers, no idea what I was getting into until it was too late. The feeling is just you don't care. Anything that happened in your life doesn't matter. Anything you're facing doesn't matter. I had no fear of dying from heroin.
Once that heroin gets into your system, it takes over. You become addicted, then you need it constantly all the time.
It's cheap and it's prevalent and it's potent. And once they get that first time high, they chase that high forever, many times taking their life.
No one knows Robert's cycle of addiction better than his family. His mom, Cheryl, and sister, Casey, have grappled with it daily for 12 years.
I've never seen him in his handcuffs or his orange suit. I think that would kill me.
He was so excited about Christmas. He would wake up early on Christmas morning. He would he was just a great positive person. When he's high, he's just vacant.
Like no one's home.
Yeah, knock, knock, no one's home.
He never got in any trouble at all. He played football. He played soccer. Probably right up till he was 18, I would say. We had no issues. Great little kid.
I've never had goals in my life, except for pretty much to get as high as possible and feel as good as I can.
Maybe I didn't do anything to cause it, but maybe I could have done something differently, and that's what you tell yourself every single day. I mean, I had no idea of opiate addiction, no idea. My experience is that sometimes you don't know how addicted, or even if they are addicted, until you see somebody withdraw. And I witnessed that, and then I knew we're in trouble here.
Nobody wants to be a drug addict. Nobody wants to live in the streets and have to steal and have to manipulate and have to sell their body and sell their cell phones and sell their kids' game sets. Nobody really wants to do that, but that's the disease that you have no other choice. You don't want to be sick. So that's what people go through.
Molly Moranti, a single mother to 2 children, found herself down the dark path of heroin addiction in her late 20s. She's now living at Vista House, transitional housing for women in recovery.
My mom passed away when I was 20. She committed suicide and I found her. That really put a damper on my life. This is pretty much where I sleep. I actually had a car accident and they prescribed me pain pills. And then that's when I started. Once I had that in my system, it numbed everything.
When you got that first high, what was that like?
It was amazing. That's what you chase, is that first high. Is that first feeling of feeling where's this been my whole life?
From there, she lost control. Her family and friends didn't know she was using. Even more concerning, Molly had no idea she was addicted.
We went on a cruise for 10 days to the Bahamas, and I didn't bring anything with me. I'm like, oh, I'll be good. I didn't realize I was gonna go through withdrawal. And the second day, I went through withdrawal for the first time ever, and I was in my cabin the whole time. I can't even tell you what the Bahamas look like. I wasn't thinking about going to the beach and laying out in the sun. I just was thinking about how am I gonna get my next fix to make it through the day. So it's really tough living like that. I literally lost everything within 2 months of shooting it, everything. And I had a job, I had a car, I had an apartment, I had my kids. I still was maintaining, even though I wasn't living good, I wasn't living a sober, clean life, but as soon as you put that needle in your arm, you lose everything. You'll start stealing, you'll start prostituting, you'll start doing things that you've never done before.
Trust me, you're gonna get hooked, and your whole life is gonna change for the worst.
So she wanted to try it. She wanted to see what was so hard about walking away from this drug. So she was dumb and she tried it. She had been using it for a week and she needed my help. I kept saying she could quit on her own, she could quit on her own, and ultimately she couldn't quit on her own. So I took her down to Detox, and Detox ultimately found her an inpatient rehab in Connecticut. She relapsed the day she got out. She said it was the best feeling in the entire world, not what she ever had, but she felt completely disgusting. She hated herself, she was humiliated, but she was having a hard time staying away from it because it was the best feeling she ever had in her life.
Loree gave treatment another try and completed a short-term program. She moved in with her grandparents. Just days before her 19th birthday, she went to stay at her mom's house for the weekend.
Went out with one of her girlfriends, came home, and chatted for a little while, had a bowl of ice cream, said wake me up early, I want to do my hair, my makeup. I got to the bottom of her stairs, because her room was upstairs, and I yelled up to her, and no answer, and my first thought was she snuck out in the middle of the night and she went to use. And this is her room. I found her dead in her bed. She was purple, she was cold, she was dead, with her eyes open.